Okay, so I wanted to say farewell to Chicago, but I realize I might not be able to do that tomorrow. So we're gonna go say goodbye to one of the prettiest skylines in America. I think Chicago has genuinely one of the most beautiful skylines you can find. Okay, Chicago, we're saying goodbye. That is a beautiful view. Look at that. What a beautiful view. Chicago, you have treated me so well. I've been so fortunate to meet some amazing people here. And it's not goodbye forever, but there's something about this trip that's telling me I'm not going to be back here for a little bit. Wow. Road conditions are looking good, at least. And by road conditions, I don't mean the amount of traffic that we're dealing with. It's funny when you look at certain things and you realize moments of your life. But when I look at the John Hancock Tower, I just had this realization that it was the second skyscraper I've ever been in. I mean, at least to a floor that was significant. My first was the Empire State Building, and that puts things into perspective as a human being when you look over, well, especially when you go to the top of the John Hancock Tower and you look over and see how flat Chicago is and Illinois is. Let's go down into the Mag Mile. We'll say a little goodbye there as well. That's cool. Look at that 747 go by. Alright, welcome to the Mag Mile. Oh, we got a chopper up ahead. I don't know if you can see it. We're going at a little slower speed, so I've opened the visor, so we'll see how the wind noise is. Shouldn't be too bad. Oh, maybe we'll take this all the ways down and take a look at Millennium Park and the Bean and all that. The Windy City, the second city. Say what you want, it has been a good city to me. Oh, this church in the summer and spring is so beautiful. Has that beautiful vines covering it all. Goodbye mall that I've been to a small handful of times. There's actually, honestly, the most incredible or interesting thing about that mall is there's a Dr. Seuss exhibit in there. And you can buy the art. It's actually pretty fun. If you're in Chicago, honestly, I think that's the best part of our mall. Here we have the water tower. I actually went to Tokyo in Japan pre-pandemic, and in a thrift shop I found a spoon. I'll include a photo. I found a spoon of Chicago's water tower, and it was a neat experience to realize, oh, someone came to Chicago like I'm coming to Tokyo to be a tourist, and for whatever reason their souvenir spoon that they purchased in Chicago made it into their thrift store. Ooh, are we going to make it across this intersection? Yes. Hello, noisy bus. It'll be nice not to have to ride you anymore. Chicago's architecture really is, I think I've taken it for granted, although I have been on a small handful of architecture boat tours, which I highly recommend. It is worth the money. Ooh, this bus is concealing one of the largest Starbucks in the world. Depending on how you feel about Starbucks, it's really cool. Or not. We also have this Burberry, which is shaped like a cologne bottle. I've never been in there because I'm not cool enough or rich enough. Is Burberry a wealthy thing? I don't really know. Okay, coming up on the left-hand side is one of my favorite buildings in Chicago, and that is the Tribune Tower. You'll see it here on the left. It's got this really incredible Gothic architecture. Sadly, the Chicago Tribune is no longer located in there. From my one of my boat architecture tours, there was actually a competition to decide what style of architecture this building would be. I have a friend who is an architect that could tell you a lot more that I can't. Alright, we're going to go over the Chicago River. There it is. So that stretch, once we got off the off of Lakeshore Drive, was the Magnificent Mile, with as much fancy shopping as you'd ever like to do. If I can get in this other lane here so we can get a glimpse of maybe the Bean. We also have the Art Institute, which is really cool. Yeah, you tell them. Or we stay away from people who are road raging. Look, you're gonna get cut off. It's a city. It's gonna happen. You just have to be a defensive driver. Wow, I wish I knew so much more to tell you about architecture. I know that there is, I think it's the Congress Hotel coming up, which I believe is considered by some to be one of the most haunted hotels in America. Oh, look at this old Crown Victoria. That thing it actually looks really good considering it does have some rust. Anyway, there's the Bean. Let me see. I wonder if we're getting it. Let's try and turn left here and see what happens. I don't remember if this will take me back to Lakeshore, but we're gonna try. This is the Art Institute, and you can spend an entire day in there. Now I'm gonna try and get you an interesting view. I really like the view of the city coming in from the north side. However, the view from the south side is also pretty friggin' great. Okay, I had to put my visor down for a little bit. My little nose is getting cold. Up ahead, we have the Field Museum, the Shed Aquarium, and further even to the left is the Adler Planetarium, where, for the first time, I was able to touch moon rock pre-pandemic. I bet they're not letting people touch that moon rock anymore. That was a vector for germs for sure. I want to take a moment and give a huge thank you to all of my friends. I I really do feel so fortunate to know the friends I know. Just take this in real quick. And look at that. You can see the Sears Tower over there. I think now it's technically the Willis Tower, but a stubborn Chicagoan thing is that we're still calling that the Sears Tower. There's one of these buildings, I believe it's the Aon Tower. I think that's what it's called. To the right of the Prudential building. I really wish, there's like some things in history where you're like, oh, I wish I would have been around for that. But the Aon Tower, all of the tiles had to be replaced because they brought in this like these fancy tiles or marbles or something. I think it was marble from Italy. And it turns out that whatever that stone was did not like our Chicago winters, and the tiles started falling off the building. And here's the thing, that's a very tall building, and it's a long way to the ground, and people walk down there and murder. Now I don't think anyone actually died. I'm gonna Google that once I get home and hope that that's not true. However, there was severe potential of death. They had to reclad the entire building, which must have been an astronomical cost, especially, oh gosh, I'm guessing that's like 70s? It looks 70s. I don't know exactly. I'll put on the screen when it was actually built. Now, I really am giving you the the boat architecture tour. This beautiful wavy building directly in front of us, I believe is so as far as like tallest buildings in Chicago, we have the Willis Tower, which also known as the Sears Tower over there. Then I believe you have Trump Tower, and then I think it's this building, and then John Hancock. I'll put the correct order on the screen. But what is really cool about this building is it's actually done by a female architect, and I believe is the tallest building designed by a woman, either in North America or the world, which is really cool. It's just neat to see progress like that actually happening in a field predominantly of men. One of the neatest things, if you ever do visit Chicago, is our lakefront path. So very early on in Chicago's history, they decided to mandate that waterfront access to the lake was for the public, and that prevented essentially a bunch of wealthy people who would love to live there from building directly on it. And so you have an 18-mile stretch, I believe it's 18 miles of the lakefront path of just public space. You can walk the whole thing, you can bike the whole thing. It's really cool. Sorry, I'm just going to put my visor down because we're going to boogie here a little bit. Now, we're also going to go by Navy Pier. Now, here's the thing about Navy Pier. You want to talk about overrated. Now look, it's got some cool things. That Ferris wheel is pretty cool. Chicago Shakespeare is actually there, and I've seen some pretty great shows. Let's make sure we're not going to die here. But overall, Navy Pier is a tourist trap. Now, you might have to go there for some of the architecture tours. And look, it's worth visiting, I guess. But it's one of those things where, as a local, you do it once, and you're kind of like, okay, I see why I would never want to go here again. You know, we're talking overpriced overpriced foodstuffs. I think there is actually a pretty cool children's museum in there that recently got revamped. All in all, though, meh. Navy Pier, overrated. This building is fascinating. I wish I knew the names of all these buildings. This building is not supposed to be there. So you remember earlier when I was telling you, okay, the lake is for the people. This is past the mark where buildings were supposed to be built, and somehow they got away with it. Now, I think a bunch of legal stuff happened, and it is now grandfathered in, and it does look pretty cool, but it's a baddie. You're a bad little building. You're not supposed to be there. Shame on you. Hello again, John Hancock Tower. I think there's a building in New York City where they let you control the lights. I think right now the Hancock Tower's rocking some Ukraine lights. But I feel like there's a building in New York City where you can like download an app and you can change the colors yourself. Something like that. Sometimes this ice is over and it gets super sketchy and dangerous, and people slip and fall a lot. No fun. Don't love that for them. Goodbye, Chicago. You have treated me better than I deserve, let me tell you. Thank you for so many amazing memories, experiences. I'm coming back. Let me tell you, the Scoot is feeling pretty good. So, besides saying goodbye to the city of Chicago, before I leave, I wanted to put a few more miles on these tires just to kind of warm them up, get them broken in, make sure that they're as safe as possible. Now you'll notice Lakeshore Drive, the speed limit says it's 40 miles an hour. Thanks to Chicago, I kind of go a little faster than 40 miles an hour. Like right here is fine, but I have someone literally riding my butt because, well, to them, we're not doing the speed limit. So I usually like to live in the third lane. I feel like it's the safest. We're gonna try and, oh, nope. Not yet. All right, now we can go for it. All right, the left-hand side, we have Lincoln Park Zoo. It's a free zoo. You don't have to pay anything to go in it. There's also the Peggy Notabart Nature Museum, which has a butterfly room where you can literally go hang out with butterflies and they'll land on you. And it was so much fun just having butterflies land on me. It was incredible. I mean, come on, who doesn't want to have a butterfly land on them? I'm sure it's like good luck or something. At least that's what I'm going to tell myself. Goodbye, Chicago.